And let's begin with the latest updates of the war of words between the Tamil Nadu government and the central government over the national education policy. A week after war of words and back and forth between Chief Minister Stalin and the Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, now the Education Minister in a detailed letter has countered the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, responded to all of the questions that the government has raised of the NEP. Now, Dharmendra Pradhan particularly has said that there is no question of imposing any language on any state and that opposition to the national education policy only deprives students and teachers of opportunity. And therefore, Dharmendra Pradhan in his letter has in fact asked and requested Stalin to go ahead and implement NEP, which he says in his letter has been stalled due to political issues, and that's why he says that it's highly inappropriate for a state to view the national education policy with a myopic vision and use threats to sustain political narratives. Remember that the NEP has not been implemented in Tamil Nadu, and that's because the DMK opposes the three-language policy which is mentioned in the national education policy of Hindi, English plus one regional language, in this case Tamil. The DMK maintains we will stick to a two-language policy of a regional language plus English. Anaga Keshav is joining us live from Chennai with more details on this. Anaga, the political showdown continuing now. Dharmendra Pradhan shooting off a three-page letter to Chief Minister Stalin. Run us through really what the central government's response has been.
Well, Akshita, in fact, Dharmendra Pradhan has also cited instances where the central government has always been fully committed to upholding and promoting Tamil language and culture. For example, he cited two major instances, one being how at the Kashi Tamil Sangamam, Prime Minister Modi attended, he released Tirukural that was translated into 15 Indian languages. Additionally, Dharmendra Pradhan also cited another instance where during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Singapore, he inaugurated Tiruvalluvar's Cultural Centre to promote the great Tamil saints' thoughts across the world. So Dharmendra Pradhan has assured that, the central government will always promote Tamil language and culture. It has always been doing so. And by not implementing the NEP, that's the National Education Policy, Tamil Nadu government is being nothing but myopic. In fact, he has also advised CM Stalin to narrow his horizon and not really broaden it. Additionally, to the counter that DMK government gave, that what the BJP at the union government is doing nothing but imposition of the Hindi language. Dharmendra Pradhan has countered that by saying that we are not imposing Hindi language, we're only merely providing that as an option for a third language. If Tamil students want to opt for the language and study the language, they are free to do so. But this is not imposition, is what Dharmendra Pradhan in his letter to Stalin has clearly mentioned and assured that, by implementing the national education policy, this would not mean imposition of Hindi language, is what Dharmendra Pradhan has also mentioned. He's also highlighted the bit where CM Stalin also wrote to Prime Minister Modi by saying that his letter meant nothing but undermining the spirit of cooperative federalism. So that's exactly what the three-page letter that Dharmendra Pradhan wrote to CM Stalin basically says.
The end also, there's a clear mention by Dharmendra Pradhan that the central government believes the reason the national education policy hasn't been adopted by Tamil Nadu is because of political reasons. And that's why Dharmendra Pradhan ends and signs off the letter saying, I would request you to rise above political differences and look into the matter holistically, keeping in mind the interest of our young learners. This is how Dharmendra Pradhan has essentially signed off the letter. In every paragraph, he talks about how the central government has in fact promoted Tamil in several formats. Okay, joining us now is Dharmendra of the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. Mr. Dharmendra, what do you have to say about Dharmendra Pradhan's letter? He says that for political reasons, the national education policy hasn't been brought into Tamil Nadu, and in his letter also highlights specific instances of how the central government or Prime Minister Modi has promoted Tamil.
His letter is complete rubbish. As a public policy student and someone who worked in public policy space, he doesn't have any reasoning on why NEP should be adopted for the entire country. Does it have data? Does it have quantitative, qualitative research? Does it refers to any paper? Nothing. Right? He's just given few anecdotes. Have that resulted in improvement of Tamil language as a whole? No. Right? So you can write something, but if you don't substantiate it, doesn't mean anything. But I'll tell you the reason why this whole issue has ensued. The SSA is a scheme that was launched in 2001 for what? Universal access of education, like access of education for girls, fees and the right to education, right to education for OBCs, SCs, etc. So when it comes to outcomes, Tamil Nadu is one of the best performing states. Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, Delhi. But these are the states that are denied funds. Hindu data point says that 20 outcomes of this, out of the 20 outcomes of SSA, these 4 states are in the top 10 in 19 metrics. And then best performing states in the top 5. But then no funds, 0 funds have been released. Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh are in the bottom 5 when it comes to outcomes of SSA. They have released entire funding. You are linking SSA to something that came as recent as NEP or something that as recent as PM Shri. Both these schemes are completely unrelated. They're not intertwined whatsoever. So this is tantamount to blackmail. And tomorrow, maybe 2 years later, the Indian government come and say, we will release you this money for this scheme only if you want to implement Hindi in your government offices. Why won't they do it?
In the letter, Dharmendra Pradhan has spoken about PM Shri schools, saying PM Shri schools have been conceptualized to be NEP exemplar schools, so they are linked.
No. See, but the problem is, why are we not signing PM Shri? Because it's indirect way of imposing NEP.
No, if you don't implement NEP, how is there a question of PM Shri schools? How is there a question of those funds coming through?
No, that's what I'm saying. See, the funds are supposed to come for what? Supposed to come for Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, which was launched in 2001, 3,500 crores, which has about 20 to 35 different functions, vocational training for students, they have internet access in schools, better toilets, better infrastructure, so on and so forth. A lot of things. So funds for that are not being released. Why are we not signing PM Shri? Because it says NEP. Why are we not signing NEP? There's not just a 3-language formula that's a problem. There are a number of issues. For example, NEP says gross enrollment ratio will be 50%. So by 2030. In Tamil Nadu, we achieved that in 2015 itself. There are many metrics which NEP wants to achieve by 2030. We have achieved already 20 years back. So we have 20 years, 2 decades ahead. So why implement something that's going to make our system redundant? So Indian states, let me complete this, are profoundly diverse than even the countries of European Union. For example, right, states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala do as good as the states in the United States of America in some metrics. And unfortunately, states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar only do as good as countries in sub-Saharan Africa. That is the profound diversity.
No, but
how can I have one scheme?
You're constantly comparing states. You're constantly comparing this state versus that state. The question that's being asked here, we have Mr. Kovai Satyan of the AIADMK, who I'll just bring in after this one question to Dharmendra. And the question here is whether students will lose out on opportunities because they're deprived of learning one additional language, additional to Tamil and English.
I answer this before the resolution. So when there is profound diversity within states, you can't have one scheme for entire country. So this I'm going and saying every centrally sponsored scheme has to be unique for each state. That's why I'm saying get done with centrally sponsored schemes. Let the individual states have their own schemes and let the money come from the union government. And union government can tie it up with the outcomes. The outcomes are more important. And your question is, even let's assume that we accept the 3-language formula. The question is, why 2 Indian languages? It could be one Indian language, that is Tamil, people study in Tamil, and then English is a foreign language, and third language could be Japanese, German, Malayalam.
But why are you opposing 2 Indian languages? Why are you against Hindi? I thought the problem was imposition, not that you're against the language. So what's wrong with 2 Indian languages? Isn't it better to learn 2 Indian languages than learning 2 outside languages?
No, I did write an article today which came in. No, I did write an article on this which came in Indian Express where I did explain why 2 Indian languages exactly means it would be Hindi. Firstly and foremost, it's impossible for schools to have teachers in, let's say, 20 Indian languages. If you do the math, it works out to be 1 lakh crore. 20,000 government schools into 3, 60,000. You pay them 10 lakh salary a year. That works out to be about 60,000 crores, more than the entire education budget of all the Indian states nearly. So which indirectly what will happen is to 2 or 3 languages. And because Hindi is spoken in majority in north of India, and again it's one of the official languages, indirectly it will be an Hindi imposition.
So what's wrong with that? How's that
And that is why we
imposition?
also-
No, Dharmendra, I have to bring in the others also who are
That is
waiting.
indirect
Thank you for the moment. Thank you for the moment. This is a debate that will go on and on. Kovai Satyan and Tom Vadakan are with us and they've been waiting very patiently. So thank you. Kovai Satyan, I'll begin with you. What's your view on this entire showdown over the national education policy? Dharmendra Pradhan saying that because of political reasons, it's not being brought into Tamil Nadu, therefore depriving students of opportunities.
Both BJP and DMK are playing petty politics over this issue, not telling the truth to the people of Tamil Nadu. The incompetent DMK led by MK Stalin. It is his government which wrote to the central government last year saying that they are interested to establish PM Shri schools in Tamil Nadu, which follows the model school formula of NEP. At the same time, they say we will constitute a committee on the same. Nobody knows when was the committee formed, who are the members, and what is the outcome. When you have shown an inclination to establish model schools, which reflects the NEP draft, why suddenly oppose now what is being given in the NEP is the question. On the other hand, a state which borrows 350,000 crores, crying at the center saying to release 2,000 crores and do not put the stakes of 1 lakh students' lives at stake is nothing but biggest joke. Both are playing politics to their own benefit, not addressing the mundane issues. The Twitter wall also is not the reflection of the minds of the people of Tamil Nadu. See, there are avenues. If anybody is willing to learn Hindi, they can learn Hindi because Dakshin Bharata Hindi Prachar Sabha, 350,000 students writes exams in Tamil Nadu. It is not, there are not avenues. But what is the biggest worrying factor is, this should not be the back door to get Hindi into Tamil Nadu is what the biggest worry. Already the central government run agencies are slowly writing circulars in Hindi and the staffs are conversing only in Hindi, starting from railway stations to banks to any central government run agencies. So this is seen as a backdoor entry to impose Hindi is what the biggest worry of the people of
Backdoor entry to imposing Hindi. Thank you, Kovai Satyan, for joining us. Tom Vadakan of the BJP is also with us. Mr. Vadakan, you've heard from the DMK and AIADMK, both saying that this is an attempt to impose Hindi on us. If it's a question of a three-language policy, why should we not have an option of any other language besides Hindi? Apologies, we've lost the connection with Mr. Tom Vadakan. But you've heard there from what every single representative had to say, the DMK and the AIADMK, who have now claimed very clearly that they are still against the national education policy. We'll have to wait and see what the DMK's response is now to this 3-page letter from Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Listen in to what he had to say also.
He has written the letter not in a good spirit. He has mentioned few imaginary concerns through that letters, and his letter is full of political motivation. Education should not be politicized. To mention NEP 2020 a myopic vision is highly inappropriate. I appeal to raise above from the political difference, from the parochial approach, from the political approach. I have again through a letter request Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Government of India is committed to implement